Yeah, it's been awesome so far. We got to practice. Um, we love it. Kids have had a fantastic off season. They really last 6 weeks have really worked hard. Have spent a ton of extra time on their own getting ready for spring. We had tons of in day one of spring. Amazingly, how much our offense executed today and our defense executed today. Offense clearly had the defense. We got all those guys back on offense. We lost a bunch of good defensive players. Kind of hard to not have Sterling and Mike back there running the show. Kind of hard not to have those DNs that have been so good for us for the last decade. They've been here, some of those guys. So it was awesome. It was great to be out here. It's been a long time since North Texas where we really get to play some football, and me personally and pretty much most of the people behind me, they love this. So it's this. We'll never have a bad practice. We don't execute always well, and we don't always work as hard, and there's plenty to learn. But as far as enjoyment and loving it, like as I said, if you like football, come play at Miami. It's a pretty good place to be. So our guys love football.
How would you compare today's first day to first days in your previous years here in terms of, you were talking about oozing and that kind of thing?
I would say we did way more on offense and defense today. There's a lot of, we have a lot of stuff in. All right, so that was as good as any first day I've ever been in spring. Execution, we got having a bunch of guys out there with your first defense that have never played it down here at Miami. That's what it looked like at times. Obviously, offense, we have more guys back, and then you have Brett. So Brett makes everybody better. But we have a lot of other guys that played football there, and Tyree and Jay Walk and a lot of like Cold Iron played a lot of football here. So they're better, and then even the younger guys, the younger DBs don't have Brett to help them get where they need to get to and just throw balls in perfect spots, and so he makes that difference, and we'll see, but he looked pretty damn good today making decisions, balls out of his hand, time and that. So, but it was for. Again, a lot. Like I'm sitting back, I'm like, we got a lot of stuff we're throwing at each other, and it's not perfect, but it assembles what we're trying to do, so it's helping each side. So it was really good first day.
Just with that explaining, would you say getting your defense up to speed would be the number one goal here for the spring?
Just developing our kids. We don't have to play at the end of spring, so that we'll get to where we need to get to. We need to develop kids individually, just their own game, but then also them understanding our defense. We got to leave spring where a lot of our young defense players, and we got plenty of young offense guys that just need to improve over these 15 days. The end result, like we're not playing Kentucky at the end of spring. A fall camp, you got to kind of build to get ready to play. We don't have to build to get ready to play. We just got to keep doing everything we can to have these guys, put them in as many different situations. Like we threw so much at, like there's a lot of stuff going on today for some of the young guys, which is awesome. Like they got to learn eventually. You might as well have them drink through a fire hose, and a lot of people like to start slow. We like to make sure they know how bad they are. And there's some guys going to watch the tape tomorrow morning. It's going to be ugly, And then again, that's not that we're in, the new positive world of, you gotta boost them up, and you gotta pat them on the back, and you gotta tell them how great. And that's pretty much the world. And I get a lot of play. We don't really. Our deal is, hey, let's go. We're gonna go full speed, 100 miles an hour, and if you're going out against good players, you know what you're doing, okay, well, then you're not very good. Like, we were talking about before practice, there's no freshmen in college. We don't have a freshman team. We don't have a JV team. We don't have you're here, you're the good or you're not. Well, I just got here. Well, you're not very good, I played true freshman. Rick Everett plays true freshman. Like, you waiting for what? Waiting for your junior year? Your career might be over by your junior year. Like, so today was good because a lot of young guys realize, okay, off season, and they come in on a Sunday and throw some 7-on-7, and it's kind of loose and fun. And then all of a sudden today, we're going at a little different tempo, and holy crap, things happen in a hurry, and then they get to watch them all, and then you get to make a decision. Well, that's how they get better, maybe, or that's where they fold. Some of the kids just go away because it's too competitive and it's too hard, and we ask too much, and that's fine too. We find that out this spring. Like, you're not very nice. Okay, well, everybody in the world's very nice, so. When you get your first job, I hope they're really nice to you, So, and I hope they give you tons of chances to make the same mistake over and over at your first job. What happens your first job, you're fired, then you can't feed your family. So we're trying to get kids ready for that. So, but it was awesome.
You mentioned developing kids individually. Are there any significant position shifts that you'll be looking at more closely than other spots this year?
Yeah, like secondary, you got Quez, who played like 7 games here, like the first 5 weeks of the season, he never got on the field, and then all of a sudden he played, and did he have a really nice first year as a redshirt freshman? Yeah. He's the most experienced DB we have. And the first time he ever saw action was the fourth quarter of Central Michigan last year. Like, that's not that long ago, John Saunders started 3 games for us last year. He's our next most experienced DB. So there's certainly, like, it's pretty scary to be that inexperienced on the back end of your defense, because that's where games are won and lost. But we got a lot of young, talented kids. Like, it's not like we got 5 kids and we got them all. We got 12, 13 kids back there that can play. We lost, name a defensive end that's played here other than Cam Butler, Ben Kimpler, Dom Robinson, and Lonnie Phelps. Mm-hmm. Like, name one. Who's the last one that played that? Like, you're talking about, you lose starters, you typically have backups. Like, we lost our backup. We lost 4 of the best defensive ends. Kimpler started here for 6 years. Cam Butler started here for 4 years. Like, and talking about unbelievably talented players that played the game the right way. We're not just losing great ability with those guys. We're losing unbelievable leadership and experience. So you're talking, you don't have a defensive end that's even thought about stepping over that white line again. Like, never. Like, they came here on Saturday and knew they were just going to watch a game like you guys got to watch the game. So those 2 positions, obviously in particular, we're starting over, and we're going to be young, and we got. Yeah. What are you going to do when you got 4 NFL caliber DNs are all gone. They're all gone. Well, they all play in the NFL right now, but they're all, some will and some are damn close. Like, so you're starting. Right. So that's either scary or exciting, depending on how you look at it. Like.
The lack of experience on defense you talked about, but you get Ryan McWood back.
Yeah.
You had to feel good seeing him out.
And again, it's weird because we lose 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 what I would consider starters on defense. But I would also consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 starters back. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I used all 4 DNs as starters. McWood was a starter. We lost the starter at Mike, but McWood's back, so we gained a starter back at Mike. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we got 6 guys that have played a lot of meaningful football. So, but yeah, no, it's great to have McWood back, especially with all the other losses, from his play, for 1, to his leadership, for 2, to his experience of helping us get organized, as not just as a defense, as a whole football team, on and off the field. What he adds to us is really amazing. So yes, it is awesome to have him back.
Yeah, it felt good mentally. Just all off season and last season was big time, just staying in the playbook and kind of coaching guys up. So definitely the body feels good, but just a little, kind of the movements were a little rusty, but definitely mentally was still there. So
what was the nature of your injury?
What was it?
Yeah.
It was torn left adductor longus, torn left rectus abdominis, and then the right side rectus abdominis was like 3/4 torn.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on down there.
Yeah. So, but everything's 100% now?
Yep, 100%. Just kind of getting back into things and making sure,
What goes through that decision? I mean, it could have been easily, you could have just said, what, that's going to be a huge rehab. Why did you decide to come back?
I love ball. That's really it. The young Ryan McWood, that had dreams of, playing college ball and playing hopefully the next level, would be probably disappointed if I just hung it up then. It's tough, not having guys out here, no Sorensen, no Kimpler, Tommy Doyle, all those guys that you came in with, Ben Kimpler's, they're all gone, but, you got other guys that are here that you build bonds with and relationships with, so, yeah.
That's all I need.
Ryan, one more question for us. Coach talked a lot about trying to get just even such a young secondary. How much of a role are you going to play, just helping everybody kind of get lined up this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big role. Defense it's all entailing, from the secondary to the linebackers to the D-line, Everyone's got to be on the same page, so having meetings together, going over tape together, just making sure everyone's on the same page. And those guys have learned, the young guys, they're young, but they've learned from awesome, secondary players like Sterling and Mike over the past couple of years, so it's going to be good.